Good morning. Dr. Corey Campbell here. And have you ever been stressed? I know, it's kind of a silly question. Stress affects so many of us, but I am bringing some great stuff for you guys about secrets that you should know about stress. I want to what it does to the body, and I'll be sharing some secrets on what you can do to reduce your stress so you don't have the damage on your body. If you have ever been stressed, drop me a comment down below and tell me what's the number one thing that brings you stress. And, if you care to share is when do you know that your body is stressed? So for me is, like my palms will get sweaty. I'll kind of feel some pressure here in my chest. Even sometimes if it's really bad, it's been going on for a while, maybe I'll get headaches, I'll get just different joint aches. These are things that happen to me. Now, everybody's different when it comes to our health. So I've been doing some research about stress and managing it and bringing it to the point where we can make a difference for ourselves. And I want to share this with you guys. So there's a quote that I love. It's, people are disturbed not by a thing, but by their perception of a thing. Hey, Shannon. Guys popping on there live. Now, I love this because our belief is what can cause most of our stress. So whether we believe it or not, if we're in danger, our body will have this reaction that something is wrong or that something bad is going to happen. And so think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where you've thought that something bad is going to happen before you go into it, and you turn out at the other end and everything's okay? So I was in a group yesterday, and one of the gentlemen, they shared this story about learning as, when you go to kindergarten, is, most of the time, maybe not you, but most of the time, kids are scared. They're like, they got to go to a new school. They got to meet a new teacher. They got to make new friends. They're really scared. But what do you do as a parent? I don't know. You parents out there, tell me what you do, because I don't have little humans. But you drop them off at school and you say, I'll pick you up. It'll be okay. And you tell them that because it will be okay. But all of that, anxious feelings and stress and the sweaty palms and the nervousness, all of that is built up because of our belief that there's an issue. And that plays into our body. So there is actually no definition about stress that anybody agrees on. So I'm going to share my tips on this. Hey, Chris. All right. So here's the deal. There are good stress and bad stress. And maybe you guys have heard this before. Good stress and bad stress. So I use an example of good stress. Exercise. Right? If you go out and exercise, it causes stress on your body. We know exercise is good for us. Right? But it causes stress inside of our body. Bodybuilders, you're trying to get beefier muscles. They get those muscles because they stress the muscles out. So think of that. That's just a quick example of a good stress. But there's a lot of bad stress examples. So I'm going to give you there's 4 different types of stress. And in studying this, I didn't realize how in depth the definitions of these went. So it was really cool for me. So I want to share it with you. The first one is acute stress. This is your fight, flight, or freeze. So there's 3 different things that would happen if you're faced with a situation. So let's take it back to like caveman days, and you're out hunting and there's a saber-toothed tiger. What are you going to do? There's 3 options. You can freeze and get mauled to death. You can, grab a spear or a rock and try to fight off the saber-toothed tiger, so that's fight. Or you can run for your life and climb a tree, so that's flight. So fight, flight, or freeze. If we take it back to those caveman days, that's how our body, that is ingrained in our brain to survive. Okay, so we need that trigger, that acute stress trigger to survive. The body is preparing to defend itself, to protect itself. And once we are faced with that, it takes about, they say, 90 minutes for metabolism to return back to normal after the situation is gone. So, we don't have saber-toothed tigers anymore. We're not out hunting the meals that way necessarily, unless you're hiking and you're attacked by a mountain lion or something. That's probably not going to happen. So in our acute stress situations, a stressful situation might be, you're driving down the highway and you hear the screeching behind you, so you tense up because you're like preparing for the impact, and there's a couple cars that collide together. Your body is in that fight, flight, or freeze. You're like, okay, am I going to drive off the side of the road? Am I going to have to slam on my brakes? I'm just going to freeze here and wait for anything to happen to me. That could be an acute stress trigger, and it takes your body 90 minutes. It's an hour and a half to return back to normalized, right? The second type of stress is chronic stress. So this is when a situation happens, we hold it in, we don't talk about it, something bothers us, and it lets us eat us up, and eat us up, right? So have you ever heard the phrase, like push it down, push it down, push it down until you blow up like a volcano? That is the chronic stress. So if this is left uncontrolled, which means you don't talk about it, you don't resolve the issue, you don't work through whatever it is, then it really starts to break down and damage your body with your muscles, your joints, and especially your immune system. So people that have a lot of chronic stress they're going to have a suppressed immune system, which means they're less likely to be able to fight off germs and bugs and stuff. Right? The third type of stress is called eustress. This is spelled EU stress, right? Not you, it's EU stress, right? This is stress in our daily life that is positive. So things that might come up is, maybe you're up for a promotion and you're getting promoted, or maybe you won an award and you have to go up in front of people. It's a positive situation. Maybe you're anticipating a baby on the way, or you're anticipating a wedding, making new friends, or you're coming up for a graduation, or you're going to get through this new certificate or something like that. All of those are positive things, but what it triggers in the body is still that stressful response. And the fourth and final type of stress is called distress. That's DIS for distress. Right? This is stuff that happens in our daily life that is negative connotation. So, you're coming up for a divorce. You're coming up for a punishment. You maybe got to go to court for something. You've had an injury to your body, and all of this is happening too. Your brain is causing that trigger. You have some negative feelings, your relationship problems, work problems, financial problems, all of that stuff is triggering in there. So that is the distress. And there's different things that happen. So like the number one causes, this is from a report that I read from statistics, is the top 7 causes of stress to be triggered. Number 1 is job pressure. Number 2 is money. And number 3 is health challenges. 4 is relationship troubles. 5 is some poor nutrition. 6 is media overload. And 7 is sleep deprivation. And I see this so often. I've gone through all of these myself to be triggered for stress. So if one of those hits you and you're like, hey, yeah, that causes me stress, tell us down below. So is it job? Is it money, health, relationships, poor nutrition? I just skipped over that one. Media overload and sleep deprivation are those things that cause you stress in your life, right? So just going through my notes here because I want to make sure you guys get all the good information that I'm getting. So I had a class last night and I talked all about this one-on-one with some people about the different types of stress. And we don't realize that good stress is good, but we have to still manage it. And bad stress is we want to try to eliminate as much of that as possible. Right? The general stress response is 1, the alarm phase happens. So that's that quick, fight, flight, or freeze stage. There's different parts, different triggers that happen in the body. And then the second stage to that is resistance. So this is where the body kind of, I'd say, builds up its army inside to be able to fight off whatever the stressor is. So in a sense, your good army is preoccupied. So this gives an opportunity for like the germs and the immune issues to happen. And then the third is the exhaustion stage. So if you're in this constant stress, stage against resistance, the exhaustion stage hits, and that's actually causes death. And I'll say that stress is the number one cause of non-communicable diseases. So these are things like, heart disease, diabetes, those things. So stress is the number one cause of those non-communicable diseases. So if we can work on ways to decrease stress, then we're less likely to have those things happen in our life. Not that I can say it eliminates everything, but if we can decrease it a little bit, it makes a big difference, right? So what I'm going to do is I have my top secrets for reducing stress, and I will send those to you. But what you have to do to get them is you have to go to my page, click on the messenger, and send me a private message and say that you want my stress reducing secrets. And I will send those over to you because I want to make sure I'm giving them to people who want them. It's not just sharing out information that people don't want. If you want it, reach out to me and I will give you my stress reducing secrets just super speedy over Facebook Messenger, you guys. So that is all I have for today. My name is Corey Campbell and I am just popping you tips on reducing stress today. I hope you loved it. Share it with a friend. And remember, if you want my secrets, you have to send me a private message and ask them. All right. Have a fantastic day. Go out and rock it. Do great things, impact lives, and make a difference. Love you guys. Bye.